So for today's video, I want to put one out there about what the future of the UK might look like, say in 10 years' time. So 2035, what could the landscape of Britain look like? Well, imagine it, 2035, 10 years from now. If we continue on the same path, 100%, we're going to have more inequality. We will very likely have much more tech. And almost certainly there is going to be far less trust in establishment, the system, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. So the UK that you know and love, or maybe know and tolerate at the moment, might not exist. In the next 10 years, it is very likely that the chessboard is going to change massively. So what I want to do is just to really, I guess, walk through what the possible futures could look like and also which are more likely. So the UK is already in a slow growth zone. There are global headwinds, things like trade wars, things like energy volatility, climate risk, slow growth, political instability, choose your poison. So from this, I see three future scenarios. You've got best, middle, and worst. So let's start with the best case scenario. So the best case scenario is that we become an innovation-led country and that we rebound from where we are at the moment. We embrace green tech where it makes sense and is financially beneficial to do so, not just do it because it's on a whim. We become dominant in the services industry and things that we can do. We become AI aware as a nation and start embracing it to assist us in our jobs rather than people being in fear that it's going to replace them in their jobs. And hopefully within this, we'll obtain some kind of regional equality. And it could be argued that for the longest time, certainly since I can remember, since I was a child, probably before, there has been a very distinct north-south divide in terms of wages, in terms of poverty. And statistically, though there are hubs of business in the north, of course there are, statistically and over time, the north has marginally been poorer than the south. I think nobody can deny that. And it'd be nice to see them catch up. You've then got the middle ground. So this is the kind of, if we stick the same course, I guess. So if we stick the same course, we're going to have slow drift. We'll have occasional growth spurts, and to counteract it, we'll have pockets of stagnation. Basically what we've got right now. If we do the same thing that we've always done, then we'll get the same results that we've always got. I think it was probably Einstein or some equally clever bugger that said that. I've probably paraphrased it terribly, but that is the middle ground, that we don't innovate, we don't really do anything in particular, and we maintain course. And then we've got the worst case scenario, the pessimistic scenario, and we all love a bit of pessimism. And that's where we've got deep-rooted stagnation. We've got fragmented society where the north-south divide, and also due to people's political affiliations or religious affiliations, society fractures even further than it already has been in recent months. We could have public service collapse completely, where public services aren't able to be propped up because there are no more taxes to grab. And obviously the whole working situation and employment could be massively different if we don't embrace AI and how it can serve us rather than being constantly afraid of it as a nation. So those are the three options. The key axes that are going to decide the future really all come down to, I guess, 5 things. You've got tech and innovation, whether it's AI, whether it's biotech, dare I say it, whether it's digital infrastructure. All of these things could make or break our future. Then you've got energy and climate. It really depends how Britain manages the transition, if we really go through a transition in full, from fossil fuels. Then we've got political stability and governance, and that's obviously a hot topic at the moment. There's trust, there's policy consistency. Here's looking at you, Keir Starmer. And then there's, institutions. Are they benevolent or are they tyrannical? You can't have both. Then you've got the global position. Things like trade deals, things like alliances with other nations, things like soft power. We went through Brexit a number of years back, and it can be argued that we never really went through Brexit. We still seem to be, as a nation, governed by the EU and the European Court of Human Rights. And surely, if we'd properly gone through Brexit, and if Brexit had delivered what it was meant to deliver, we wouldn't be governed by the EU or by the ECHR. We would be doing things on our own terms. And I think that's important to recognise the difference there. And then finally, you've got inequality and social fracture, where regional divides, things like class, things like identity politics and all the rest of it, become massively important. And again, it's something that we need to get right. We need to get all of the issues put to bed. You can't make everybody happy all the time, but you can please some of the people some of the time. And if we can do that, we're probably on our way to a win. So what does data and forecasting suggest? Well, the UK GDP forecasts about 1.1 to 1.2% growth by the end of this year. I think that's an aspirational figure. I think probably it's going to be minus those numbers, that we're going to have lost growth and gone backwards by 1 or 2%. But that's the official line, is that UK GDP forecast is around 1.1 to 1.2%, if you believe that. The data also says that earnings versus costs of living is still going to be a squeeze for most people, and that the demographic shift that the UK is facing, things like an aging population, things like youngsters and Gen Zs and millennials not really wanting to have kids because they can't even get home. Then you've got productivity challenges also. So these things are massive and need to be addressed. And then obviously regional divides. Again, many parts of the UK may boom, whilst others may stagnate if things aren't addressed and rolled out across the nation, not just across select regions. So which futures are most likely? Is it optimistic, middle ground, or pessimistic? Well, sadly, it's most likely to be the middle ground, that the drift, the struggle but survive scenario seems the most probable based on the data and based on the evidence and also our starting point now. There are hybrid parts. There are some tech hubs, things like London, Manchester, Edinburgh, at a push, maybe Bristol. They may leap ahead, but that's not going to help all parts of those regions. There are risk zones, massively so, mostly rural or post-industrial areas. And of course, most of the post-industrial areas are also in the north, particularly the northeast and northwest. And these may well fall behind. And it's likely that that's going to be the case, sadly. And that inequality is going to spread. So how should you and I plan? How do we know how to position ourselves to weather what may be a potential storm of stagnation over the next 10 years? Well, I think the most important thing is to stay nimble. You need to prioritize skills and upgrading skills that you have, or maintaining at worst, over having a fixed job. Yes, a job is valuable. Yes, it's essential. But you can always find another job. It's important to keep your skill set desirable and also up to date. So I'm massive on skills over fixed employment. You would be wise probably to have geographic flexibility so you can move where the growth is. Now that may be made all the more difficult when the budget comes out, if there are going to be taxes on selling houses now, which has been widely publicized in the mainstream media. Whether that happens or not, we don't know. Literally, it's 6 weeks away. There's no way of knowing. But it is speculation that something like that is going to happen. And that would be a kick in the dick for geographic flexibility. It'd mean basically that people just won't move. And also, you need to diversify your income. Don't just rely on the system. Be tech aware. Embrace it. Don't fear it. If you fear it, you risk being left behind. Look how fast blockchain and crypto moved since its advent about 10-ish years ago. The same is happening with AI. AI has been around in some capacity for about 2.5, 3 years, and already people are becoming billionaires off this. Companies are embracing it. It's now everywhere. Even public services are using it. So you need to level up your skills and you need to become AI aware. So in conclusion, the UK of 2035, it's not written yet, but the pieces are falling into place. So I want to know, which future do you think is coming, and also why? Are we heading for a bold new Britain where, we've all got something to look forward to and we're on the up and up? Or is it something that's far more fractured, a lot more dystopian, and perhaps all the more undesirable? So YouTube is going to put a video somewhere around there. Like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz, and there will be another video tomorrow. Goldman, peace out.